But like when you was typing it, did you not read it back to yourself to realize that you sound dumb? Thank God you paid, because I ain't got no money. You know what I mean? The car would have declined. I ain't got no money. You don't have no money, Steven. What's not clicking, Steven? You're broke. I don't need a man. I can do this all by myself. Da, 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 da. Ain't nothing that a black woman can do. Do. Okay, sis, I get it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Fantasy. I do videos on makeup, hair, fashion, the whole 9 yards. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. How are you, sis? Yeah, it's a new color. I know I've been changing up my hair very frequently in these last couple of videos, but you know, I just feel like I want to keep it a little spicy. You know, a little switch my wig, make me feel what is it? Switch my wig, make him feel like he cheating. You know what I mean? On my Megan shit. But this video is going to be another one of my chit chat, get ready with me's. This one is a little bit different. It's not that different, but it's a little different. It's more so me talking about one topic, but referencing certain things that are going on with the internet. And it's a little bit more personal. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, don't take offense to it. I just want to put out a disclaimer. I'm not trying to be a pick-me. I'm not trying to be anything like this. If I said anything that is disrespectful or insensitive, please let me know down below, because I'm not trying to be insensitive to anybody. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody or anything like that, or anybody's experiences. I'm just speaking from personal experience, and these are just honestly my opinions. You can just like take it to shit and be like, fuck you, girl, you ain't talking about shit. Or you can like actually listen to my message and see what it is that I'm talking about. I hope you guys enjoy this video nonetheless, because I'm really just trying to just bring awareness to this, because like I don't feel like it's talked about enough. And I talk about a bunch of other stuff as well, like current things that's going on in the internet and on social media, and certain things that have passed that was on social media, but they're all surround around a certain subject, which you guys should already know by the title, which is just toxicity, and women toxicity, men toxicity, the fact that we're all toxic, like we just a toxic bunch of humans. Okay. Before we get into the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna give you a few seconds to just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We are 100 subscribers away from 3K. Like I am literally right there. If you love me, if you have been coming back to my videos and you always watch my videos but you realize that you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We are literally like 100, not even like, we're literally about 97 subscribers away from 3K. So let's get to 3K. Okay, I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a little second. I'm feeling my hair. You guys like my hair? This is so me. I feel like it's like so me. Okay, so if you went ahead and subscribed and hit that notification bell, let's get into the video. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into it. I already did my eyebrows and I put on my primer because I kind of forgot that I was gonna do my brows first before I did my face. So this video is going to be a little different than my usual, like, chit-chat videos. You know my chit-chat videos. So, yeah, usually my chit-chat videos consist of me talking about, like, just shit that's currently going on the internet, shit that's going on in the shade room, just shit that's going on. So, this topic does have to do with what's going on. And I am going to still get into the other topics and stuff, but I may not just, like, the whole video may not be wrapped around that. But I just really wanted to talk about women. Like I wanted to talk about us. And before we get into this video, I don't want y'all to be sitting here thinking that I'm a pick-me bitch. Okay, excuse my language, but that's just what it is. That's not who I am, and that's not what I'm trying to be. I just feel like this isn't talked about much, and me and my friend were talking about this recently, and I just wanted to talk about it because I feel like it's not talked about as much, and whenever it is talked about, people take it in a negative way. So I want you guys to really just listen to what I'm saying, listen to the message, and really take it for just us just being better in general, because I am number one first to put a nigga in his place. Okay, if you know me, you know me. So what I really wanted to talk about is how women are freaking toxic. Okay, I'm gonna start off with my face. As you guys noticed already, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Powder Foundation in the color 470, but I just want to talk about how women are. So I'm sorry, I've been sitting here and having a conversation in silence, and thank God I paid attention to the screen to know the fact that this was not recorded. So What I wanted to talk about, on my face, I have my Fenty Beauty face powder foundation in 470, and I have Born This Way Too Faced concealer in Spiced Rum. So what I wanted to talk about was the current uproar that the internet is in, which is about Ari the Dawn, Kyle's sister, talking about the fact that she wants her man to pull out a gun on her. If you guys don't know what exactly it is that she's talking about, I'm just gonna wait for my concealer to dry a little bit. If you guys have not been on the internet, y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that she was currently on recently on a podcast, the Don't Call Me White Girl podcast. If y'all don't know, Don't Call Me White Girl is the mong, one hand on front and one hand on neck, mong, that girl. She has a podcast, right? So she had Ari as a guest, and in one part of that segment, Ari is talking about the fact that in her current relationship, they have grown to now be able to talk about their problems, but before, she used to be very toxic, and one of the toxic traits that she had was that she always used to pack up her things whenever it was an argument, but she wasn't really going anywhere. She just wanted to be toxic and have her man like chase after her to show like, oh, I want you to be here, like pack her stuff and act like she's going someplace, but she ain't really going nowhere. You get what I'm saying? Y'all know that game. I played that game before, and it don't really end anywhere. So the internet is in an uproar about the fact that she said to pull out a gun. And even though I think that she was saying that in a sense to like kind of like make a joke about it, or to just show the emphasis of like how toxic she used to be and what she wanted out of a relationship, the internet took that part and was just like, yo, like, you know, this is a very sensitive subject. It's kind of tipping into domestic violence, and women are sharing their stories with her, and she decided to be like, oh, I don't care, it is what it is, like nobody cares about your story, which I find to be very rude and insensitive, because she is someone who claimed to have experienced domestic violence. If you guys do not know, her and her ex did get into a domestic altercation, and it was like all over the internet and everything, and she claims that he put his hands on her. And in that video, she seemed very distraught, and it was not something where she was like on some I don't care type of attitude that she currently has. She's speaking from a perspective of someone who's never been in that type of situation, but we have video that you were in a similar situation, even if it's not as bad. So that's all I want to say on that. I just feel like it's very insensitive for her to say something like that. It's just crazy to think like that. And then for you to have such a big platform, for you to go on live to say, oh, I don't care about your story, I don't care about, you know, your domestic violence, nobody cares, is crazy. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to talk about the fact that women are toxic. Like, we are toxic as well. I feel like there's always conversation about the fact that men are toxic and men are this and men are that, but it's never conversations about the fact of what women contribute to these toxic relationships, toxic scenarios, toxic things. And before y'all go on and be like, oh, she's a pick me, if you don't know me personally, then you're gonna think that I'm a pick me, but I'm not being a pick me, because I'm the first one to put a nigga in his place, period. But we really have to be able to take accountability. Like, I don't think that all women are toxic, but I do feel like women can be toxic, and a lot of women are toxic. And I feel like part of the reason why we're toxic is either from the way we were raised, being in households where you're not shown that much love, households where you're not able to express yourself, and you've witnessed, like, you know, a lot of violence, or just grew up in a household where arguing was just something that people did a lot, or you just experience really bad relationships, and then when you're finally in something healthy and good, you're kind of ruining it because you're not used to being in a healthy relationship. So you revert back to your toxic ways because you believe that a real relationship is supposed to have some riffraff, right? So I just feel like a lot of times women just have this always have a conversation about how toxic guys are, and women are toxic. Like, I'm gonna point myself out. I am definitely somebody that I feel like I still am to a certain extent, but I'm learning to stop being that person. I run away before I get hurt. I'm afraid of getting hurt, and because I'm afraid of getting hurt, I run away. So if I get into an argument or something and I feel like my point isn't being made, or my point isn't being made, my point isn't being heard, or I'm dismissed, I automatically start thinking of the end of the relationship. And not even like the end of the relationship. I just think about the fact of like, Well, if you can't hear my point on this small subject, you won't ever be able to hear my point. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to feel like this 10 years from now, even though we're not even 10 years in. I don't want to feel 10 years from now. I don't want to feel this, da, 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 da. I'm leaving. Like, and I would just be like, I want to leave. You're not trying to hear me out when I'm telling you how I feel like you're dismissing me. And once I feel like you're dismissing me, I feel like you don't care about my feelings. And once I feel like you don't care about my feelings, I feel like there's no point in me and you doing this because you don't care about my feelings, and you're never going to care about my feelings because clearly you don't care about my feelings. That's toxic. You get what I'm saying? That is toxic to a certain extent. Now, I'm not saying if a guy never cares about anything that you say. I'm not talking about like a narcissistic gaslighting type of person. That's not what I'm talking about. Those are not the situations I'm talking about. Like, there are situations where I hear females talk about like, I be getting bored, so I just start a fight because I like makeup sex, or I just start a fight because I need to spice things up. That's toxic. You should not get bored in your relationship and feel like the way to spice it up is to get into an argument. That is toxic. Okay, that is toxic. And like being on some like, oh, my way or no way is also toxic, because you're not allowing a safe space for you guys to both be able to have differences in opinions and be able to come to a common ground and just solve the issue. You arguing with your man for no reason because you're bored is toxic. Okay, you wanting to be in a relationship where your man is super aggressive or the aggressor, like women that are like, oh, he's too nice for me. I feel like that's kind of toxic. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, I need a manly man. I need a man that like puts me in my place. There's a level of a man being a man and leading and being assertive and kind of like checking you like, okay, you're doing too much. You know what I mean? Like, and I also want to reference the Ari situation again, because she mentions that in her current relationship, he is on some like, why are you doing that? Like, how old are you? Let's not revert back to our old ways or whatever the case is. I feel like something like that is okay. That is different than a guy like putting you in your place and like shaking you like, yo, what the fuck, cursing at you. Like, you don't have to be super aggressive for you to be a man. But I feel like women a lot of times associate very aggressive, overly aggressive men as men and see them as men. But guys who are sensitive and have emotions, who are a little bit more in tune with their emotions as a weak guy, that's also toxic. Okay, that is toxic. Like, just because a guy cries, or I mean, it doesn't even have to be crying, but just because a guy has emotions or is able to show his emotions, women would be like, oh, he's too emotional for me. He cries over every little thing. And I feel like you walking over a guy is toxic, because I also feel like when you have a son and your son has, you know, these emotions, and let's say your son cries because he fell down and you're like, oh, you're a boy, you shouldn't be crying. You're going to raise another emotionally unavailable child, another emotionally unavailable man, because he's going to feel like, I can't cry because that's not what men do. I can't show this emotion because that's not what men do. And once again, I don't want to sit here and make it seem like all women are like this. Not all women are like this. I feel like there are a lot of women that are very mature. We all know that women mature faster than men. We all know this. And I do know that there are also men who are very mature or whatever, and there are also men who are very toxic. A lot of men are toxic because most of them are taught not to have emotions. Most of them grow up not being shown love and not being given love and not having these healthy type of environments where they can share their feelings and not feel less than a man. So a lot of them become overly aggressive or overly closed off and don't know how to share their emotions. Now, what I wanted to say is that a lot of these women who choose these overly aggressive guys also fall into the same categories of the women that are the, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I can do this all by myself. Da, 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 da. Ain't nothing that a black woman can do. Do. Okay, sis, I get it. But calm down. Okay? Being overly independent is also toxic. I don't care what nobody says. I feel like when you're overly independent, you are a lot of times tend to feel like you can walk over men because you feel like you don't need them. And you don't need a man, but we need men because we need to, procreate. So you do need a man, but you don't need a man. Like, you know what I mean? We're in a time where women are getting money. Women are very independent. Women are the bosses. You get what I'm saying? I feel like back in the days, women needed men in order to survive. And we have come to a point where we don't need a man to survive. We just want love and affection and patience. And, you know, we just want emotional support from a partner. We want a partner, a best friend, who is emotionally supportive and who gives us good, you know what I'm saying? And who we can start a family with, an empire with, whatever it is, build with. But I feel like a lot of women are so wrapped up in, I don't need a man, and the super, super independent women, that you tend to scare away guys or push away guys who can be great husbands. You get what I'm saying? Or great partners, because you feel like they're too nice, or you don't want to, like, you just don't want to take anything from them. Like, I don't need you. Like, you want to make that a point so bad that you push away a guy who wants to be in your life. You get what I'm saying? This is the opposite of the city girls. Okay. I'm talking about the girl that gets everything on her own. Like, she don't need a man for nothing, but she makes it known in every single thing that she does that she don't need a man for nothing, even when she's in a relationship. Because if a man feels like he's not needed, or he's not wanted in a space, he's going to go to a place where he's wanted. You got what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be sexual. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just a man wants to feel like a man. So if you are not making him feel like a man, and majority of the times, a lot of men, the thing that makes them feel like a man is being a provider. If you're taking away that little small aspect of him, it's just gonna be like, why am I here? You get what I'm saying? Why am I here? If everything I do, you don't want it. If you got a problem with me wanting to buy you a bag because you need it, or me trying to buy, you know, pay for whatever your bills or whatever the case is, or just, I just want to help you in some way, shape, or form, and you just want it to be known so bad that you miss independent, like, why am I here? You can be as independent as independent as you want to be. But if you come off overly independent, this strong, independent Black woman, a lot of people feel like you don't need help. Okay, the strong person is always there for everybody else, but nobody's there for the strong person. Okay, so however that man wants to show you he wants to be in that relationship, let him show you. I don't care if you got $100 million in your bank account. If he say he buying you a car, take that car. Okay, so that's just my point. Like, that's just my point on that. I feel like women have toxic traits. We don't talk about it much because I think that it's just a sensitive subject, because most men are the ones that are toxic. And whenever you talk about a woman being toxic, it's, oh my gosh, she's trying to be a pick-me. I'm using the Tardis Pro palette. This is a very old palette, but this is how it looks. Okay, I'm using all the neutrals in this color, like all of these neutral colors in here. But like, whenever it's talked about, it's always like, oh, you're trying to be a pick-me, whatever. But it's just like, it's the truth. Like, just us as humans, we all have toxic ways. And the sooner you are aware of your toxicity and what you bring and your characteristics that are just not your best, like, we all know we can do better in certain things. And if you know that, don't just chuck it up to the fact of like, oh, this is just the way I am. No, like, work on yourself for you. And I'm so big on work on yourself for you, especially as a woman or a man, because unless you don't want to have kids. If you want to have kids, it is so important to work on yourself, because people focus on generational curses amongst like monetary value or money or the way, you know, your childhood or whatever the case is. But generational curses are also those bad behaviors that are just stuck in your family for generations. Like, I feel like in a lot of Black African American households, they lack that affection part. There's a lot of them that have a lot of affection, and I've been able to witness that, and I just be in awe, like, wow, y'all really be hugging, y'all really be saying I love you, like, you know what I mean? Some families don't do that. Some families don't even hug. So when I know I have friends where, like, I'm a hugger, I say hi as a hug, I say bye as a hug, and I have some friends that feel uncomfortable when I hug them because they're just not used to that in their household. They've never been raised like that, so a hug is too intimate for them, you know? Where some people, that ain't nothing. I feel like a lot of those older generations don't lack that sense of intimacy when it comes to their children. And when you lack that sense of intimacy, your children lack it as well. You know what I mean? They're not able to express themselves. If you grew up in a household where if you say something that is expressing how you feel, your parents say that it's disrespectful, you're not going to grow up feeling comfortable telling your other partner how you feel because you associate it with something negative. So you never learn how to express your emotions in a healthy way. So you're not going to learn that. You're not going to be able to do that in a healthy way in your relationships unless you're a gem, okay? And you just are great at expressing your emotions regardless of whatever environment you grew up in, because I know there's some people that can do that as well. I was saying this the other day to my sister. I'm like, toxicity isn't always about like how a person is, or oh, this person is just toxic. Toxicity is usually about how you solve a situation. So like if you guys have a problem, whether it's friends, family, whatever, if you have an issue with something, how you choose to handle that situation is what will determine whether it's toxic or not. Please excuse my broken nail. Like if I feel a way about something and I address it mass staticky, 9 times out of 10, you're never going to hear what I'm saying. You just hear the fact that I came off staticky. You get what I'm saying? And now we focus on the fact that I made you feel away because I'm talking staticky. And we're not talking about the fact that I feel away because you said something that hurt me. And you know what I mean? And now we just arguing back and forth. It's becoming a toxic situation. But the whole reason why it became toxic is because I didn't deliver my message properly. And you probably didn't receive my message properly, or vice versa, right? So that's usually like the real reason why there's usually toxic situations. And I feel like when you realize and you really sit and have those hard conversations with yourself about whether or not you are as great as you think that you are, because a lot of women to be like, oh my God, I'm such a good woman and I bring so much to that table and can't nobody tell me nothing. When you have those hard conversations with yourself and realize like, okay, I have certain things about myself that are not the greatest. I really need to pinpoint what it is, whether that's through therapy or self-reflection or yoga, whatever, meditation, whatever. When you have those conversations, I feel like you just become a better person for yourself and then for your child, because then you allow those safe spaces in every aspect of your life, whether it's work with a work friend, home with your parents or your family. You can teach your family how to also have create those safe spaces as well, and build a totally different dynamic in your family. Like you can be the key to breaking that generational curse. A generational curse does not have to be monetary values. It can legit just be the way you guys show emotion. And then when you have children, they will never experience or feel the way you felt growing up, because you have learned how to communicate in a healthy way. So now you will teach your kids how to communicate in a healthy way, whether it's a guy or a girl. Okay. And that's all I had to say about that, because I just feel like women are also toxic. I feel like humans in general, we're all toxic, but I don't feel like it's talked about enough about how much women contribute to certain things as well. Okay. So yeah, I just feel like we just need to start taking accountability as a whole and just understanding that like we can't always point the finger at the other people. I feel like women do that a lot, even when it comes down to the whole niggas ain't shit. Like I don't believe that guys ain't shit. That's not a saying that I go by or whatever. I feel like every individual is an individual. Like literally, that's the reason why we're called individuals. We are all different in some way, shape, or form. A lot of guys have very similar ways of being, but I feel like a lot of women have similar ways of being as well. I feel like where we go to fault at is we just sit there and believe that, yeah, all guys ain't whatever, and we go by that narrative, but we don't ever sit and think about, is it really that all guys ain't shit, or is it like the niggas that I'm choosing ain't shit? Okay, because that's really where it comes to. Like that's really what it boils down to. You can sit there and be like, oh, niggas ain't shit, niggas ain't shit, niggas ain't shit, but baby, there is proof in the pudding that there's a lot of guys out here that are great and they treat their women like jewels. They literally would eat peanut butter out the crack of their behind, and you sitting here suffering or whatever the case is, and you going through it with these people that just had a ton of red flags to begin with, but you chose to ignore it because you thought that you was going to be different. So is it really that they're not shit, or is it just that the guys that you're choosing are not shit? You get what I'm saying? And then also speaking of good guys, that goes into our next conversation. Guys, Megan Good and Devin, right? Devin Franklin, whatever. Everybody talking about their divorce, and I don't really want to talk too much about it because it's just like, you know, this can happen to anybody. But the conversation that was just around it is just like, what was it? Guys were just talking about, oh, there is no good women out here or whatever. And shut up. Okay, like just shut up. I hate this generation of men. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I hate this generation of men so much. I just wanted to talk about that because that led into like a whole bunch of conversations on Twitter with guys being guys, the simps being simps. Okay, because this conversation of guys being simps, they love to put it around the fact of like the guys that are buying girls bags and this, that, and the third and not being in relationships with them. But I feel like the real simps are the guys that think that women are supposed to treat them the way they treat women. You're freaking sick in the head. You're a sicko. You're a dumbass. You're a sicko. You thinking that women are supposed to fly you out, or like they love the freaking conversation of, oh, well, if a girl wants to get flown out, who's flying us out? Who's taking us on a date? Who's da 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 da? Why do you want to be a girl so bad? Why do you want to be a sis? Why do you want to be a sis so bad? Like, I get it. I get it. I get that you thought that the message was going to deliver a certain way. But like when you was typing it, did you not read it back to yourself to realize that you sound dumb? You sound dumb. Like, since when have women ever went out of their way to sit there and freaking take a man out on a date? I have never seen that in all of my time. Like, literally since the beginning of time, women have never done that. So why do you think that it's okay for women to do that now? And I'm tired of this conversation of, oh, men need to why do men need to spend money on you to get to know you? That is a part of getting to know me. Like, if we already texted, you see that you like me or whatever the case is. Okay, let's go out to eat. Let's meet on a personal level in an open space. That's part of the reason why women and people that are dating go on a date. I don't know you too well, so I'm not gonna go to an intimate place like your home. You could be a freaking killer. Okay, you could be a Ted Bundy out here. I'm gonna go to a date. I'm gonna go on a date in an open space where other people can see me in an open setting. So that way, if I don't like you and I feel like you're creepy, I'm going to not date you anymore and I'm going to walk my separate ways. However, if I like you, yeah, we can continue on this dating thing and we can take it to whatever level that we take it to, or however far this little race or run goes. You get what I'm saying? But men don't want to do that. They're like, okay, we're just going to talk on the phone forever. Or you go on a date with me and I spend $200. I expect to get some cootie cat or whatever the case is. You don't have to get that. I don't have to give you nothing. Like, I don't have to give you nothing. Just because you spend money on me don't mean nothing. You're spending money on me because you want to see if we can go somewhere. And since the beginning of time, guys are the ones that pay for dates. Now, if I decide on my own that I want to pay for a date because I want to feel like I don't owe you nothing, that's on me. Okay? And if you decide that you want to fight me and be like, nah, I got this, I'm going to let you win that fight, baby. I'm not fighting with you. I ain't fighting with you. You want to fight with me? Okay, cool. I was just trying to be cute anyways. I really wasn't going to pay. I was just trying to make it seem like I was going to pay, but I ain't going to pay nothing. Thank God you paid because I ain't got no money. You know what I mean? The car would have declined. I ain't got no money. I'm joking. I have money. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get these guys nowadays. Like, I really don't. I don't understand what is this obsession with, like, not wanting to spend money, not feeling used. Like, y'all don't want to feel used about imaginary money that y'all don't got. You don't have no money, Steven. What's not clicking, Steven? You're broke. I can't use you. Like, I can't dig. I can't be a gold digger if there's no gold to dig, bro. Like, your money is not money in it. Your gold is not golden, but your broke is broken. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Stop. Like, literally stop. Y'all are blowing minds heavy. Like, I don't freaking get it. Guys are like killing me, and I hate having these conversations with some guys because they literally just don't get it. Like, I was having a conversation with one of my friends and he was talking about Sweetie or whatever, and the fact that, oh, Sweetie, the only reason why Sweetie is dating went on a date with Young Thug is because he had, that's a Young Thug, what's his name? Lil Baby, is because he had money. And if he was a regular guy, if it was any other day, she would have never gave him the time of day. I'm like, okay, that could be true. But, I mean, her pool of guys that she can date is quite small. You get what I'm saying? First of all, one, she's a celebrity. Two, she just came out of a relationship with somebody who was filthy rich. And I'm like, once you have a certain taste of something, you are legit, like, your taste in men changes. And that does not necessarily have to be monetarily. Now, for a regular everyday girl, or, you know, somebody like me and you who is not a celebrity, who doesn't live in this type of lifestyle, that may be like, I used to date men who never used to buy me flowers. Now I date a man who buys me flowers and shows love in that type of way. Now, when I date another man, I want this man to buy me flowers. Or it could be, I dated a man, I used to date men who are emotionally unavailable, and now I date a man who is very, you know, emotionally available, who puts my feelings first, and who's able to have these type of conversation, who has taught me to be able to express myself in, you know, a healthier manner, or whatever the case is. I have now heightened my caliber of men. I'm never going to want to go back to a man who's emotionally unavailable. You get what I mean? Like, it's changed over time. So why would you think that a woman, and I'm trying to like stick to monetary because it's not just emotions, but just why would you think that a woman who's exposed to that type of man want to date someone who is not able to provide those things for her, especially if she likes those things? Clearly we see that Sweetie likes those things. So why should she date a man who cannot provide that for her just for the sake of she doesn't want to seem shallow? That's not shallow. That's just what she prefers. But you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why guys are just so worried about women gold digging and women being into them for money and all this other stuff. I'm like, a lot of times, unless you're flashy with it, women aren't really even gonna know that you have money. And if you are chasing after those city girls, of course you're gonna get got. Like, if that's the type of girl you like, but you don't want to be treated like, you don't want to be treated like a bank, but you like the girls that are like the city girls type. You in a club with 55 chains on, and you got an AP, bust down AP, or a plain Jane or whatever, and you look like money, you're going to attract a certain type of crowd. It's really up to you to differentiate whether this girl is really into you for you or into you for your money. Now, if you want to not deal with that, probably don't be a flashy. 9 times out of 10, whatever girl gets, like, is interested in you, she probably won't even know you got bank like that until, you know, you show her that you got bank like that. You feel me? That's all I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. A lot of you guys just don't get it. And that shit just don't be making no sense to me, to be honest. Like, I just don't know. I personally don't get it myself. But, yeah. And that also goes to, I know I'm speaking about a lot of relationships nowadays, y'all. But I know this is old. Okay, this is old freaking information. Okay, it goes into the toxic conversation that we was having. People were talking the Danny Lay and the baby situation, bro. I felt so bad about what happened to her. Like, I literally wanted to cry for her. Like, I wanted to cry because it's so embarrassing. It's painful to watch. So I can just imagine how painful it was to just be in that situation. The thing that got me in that situation is the fact that people were sitting here saying that she deserved it just because people were saying like, oh, she deserved it because we tried to warn you and we told you that this nigga wasn't shit and you chose to be there with this guy or whatever. And I'm just like, yo, y'all are sick, just straight sick. Okay. Because how do you expect somebody, one who's a celebrity, to listen to the internet when y'all talking about, oh, he ain't shit? Okay. Granted, we all know the baby ain't shit. Like, he was obviously still messing with his baby moms. He was going back and forth between her and whatever. But we've all been stupid before in a relationship, you know? And that's why I was talking about the fact of like, you know, is really like niggas ain't shit, or is it just the guys that we choose? Granted, she chose to be with this guy. She saw the red flags, whatever red flags she saw, or probably didn't even see red flags at all, because how he could be to the internet, he could be completely different when they're together. And that's probably the reason why she was so madly in love with him, because clearly she is in love with him. But for you to say that a woman deserves to be treated like that is sick. It's sick. No woman deserves to be publicly humiliated to that scale on the freaking internet. Like on the internet, like it's there for life. Like her daughter can literally Google their name and that will pop up. His kids can literally Google his name and that will pop up. And for you to treat somebody and humiliate somebody like that is insane. Then on top of that, people were sitting here talking about, oh, she should have just got up and left. First of all, she literally said she's in Chicago at his house. So she lives in LA. Everybody knows this, that she lives in LA. She was at his house in Chicago. Her just getting up to leave to go to her own place is not a thing. Like, she can't do that. She's in his space. So what is not clicking? Okay, like what's not clicking? I don't get it. Like, she's clearly in his space. She was living there for however freaking long. He decided to get up one day and be like, well, you're not welcome no more, pack your shit and leave. And she's like, what am I supposed to do? And I have like my 2-month-old baby. Like, what am I supposed to do? That is not okay. Like, no woman should have to deal with that just because. And then just because you're saying like, oh, she saw the red flags. I don't care what red flags I saw. If I love my man, you not telling me nothing about my man. You know what I mean? Like, you're not, if he's treating me different than what you're saying, like, everyone has been stupid for an ain't shit nigga before. Like, most of us have been stupid for an ain't shit nigga. And we not gonna sit here and act like that's not a thing. Like, I just feel like, no, I'm using Fenty Beauty Strawberry Drip liquid blush. I just feel like no woman deserves to be treated the way she was treated on any level. Like, I don't care if the man ain't it, whatever. Like, I'm not hearing nothing when it comes to that. Like, there's no reason for you to treat the mother of your child like that. This is not no regular girl that you date. She's the mother of your child. And I feel like that's not okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's sick. And I also feel like that just all goes hand in hand with like the whole like healing. Like, I feel like when you are a healed person, when you're healing and you have healed from your trauma or whatever, because I also feel like people that are toxic attract toxic people. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like if you are a toxic person, you like toxicity because you don't understand. Like, you see toxic behavior as love. You see toxic behavior as ways of showing love. And if people are not showing you that toxic behavior, but because you're so used to it, you think that they don't love you or they don't care about you or whatever the case is, right? So I just feel like if you're healed and you are healing or in the process of healing and I don't want to say healed as if like if you have certain traumas, that means that you're broken. Like, no. But if you are going through the process of, you know, maturing, breaking those generational curses, you're able to pick up on those red flags so much sooner. Like, you're not blind to it. You'll realize, like, you know what? This is not it. I don't want to deal with this. This is not going to end well for me. The way he handles certain things is just not for me. And you'll be able to pick up on those things so much sooner and be able to run for the hills so much sooner. I feel like there has to be a part of Danny that like wanted to be around him for whatever reason. Like, it was a part of her that was attracted to that sense, whether it's the fact that she likes the bad boys or whatever. She was attracted to him for some reason, regardless of all of the other red flags that he had. But if you are, I'm using the Juvia's Place Bronze Deep Dark palette. This is my first time ever using it, so fingers crossed, baby. If you are healing, in the process of healing or whatever, and you are aware of toxic traits and you know what you like and what you don't like, and you are able to identify certain things that are toxic, I feel like you can avoid those situations much sooner before you fall in love. You get what I'm saying? You guys to go ahead and tell me your thoughts and everything that I talked about in this video. I know it was a lot and maybe it didn't make sense because a lot of times I don't be making sense. Like, I be making sense to myself, but not to a lot of people. If I didn't make sense, I'm sorry. Okay. But just try to like understand what I'm saying if I didn't make sense. But let me know if you agree. Do you think that, you know, women are toxic? Let me know if you think that I'm bugging and I'm toxic and I'm the one that's toxic for even bringing up this conversation to you guys. But yeah, like, let me know if you agree with what I'm saying. If you have any like points as well that you want to make those points down below. I want to have the conversation. I want to talk about it. I don't feel like it's talked about. I feel like if you guys want me to talk about a different situation as well, or like a different topic, let me know, because I'm definitely going to talk about it. I love to do these sit down chit chat videos. I feel like it gives you guys a way to like get into my head, because I don't feel like you guys really get to know me for me, you know? Like, I don't feel like y'all know me. Y'all know me, but y'all know me. And I want y'all to like kind of get an idea of how my mind thinks sometimes. But like I said, I don't always make the best sense when I'm trying to like get my thoughts and my words out. So if I said anything in this video that's offensive, I apologize in advance. I don't know if I did. I doubt that I did. I try to be very, very careful with my words. But I know that sometimes I say things and I don't mean them a certain way, but it may come off a certain way. So if I did, please message me privately, or, you know, leave a comment down below, whatever. And just have a conversation with me and just, you know, enlighten me, teach me something. I'm always open to learning, okay? I am not one of those girls that feel like I know everything, okay? Even though if it's my man, I feel like I know everything. That's toxic, Fanta. That's toxic. Get it together. But yeah, y'all, we gotta stop being toxic. We gotta do better as a group of women, okay? We have to become so good at being us and mature that we make these men shiver. We need to make them shiver just off of the fact of us just being us. Like, and I feel like a lot of guys are intimidated by healed women, bro. A lot of guys are intimidated by women that know what they want, women that don't take no shit, who got their shit together and expect their man to like level up and meet them at the same level, or if not better, you know. A lot of guys are intimidated by those type of women. Like, they can't stand those type of women because it will force them to grow. And men don't like to feel like they are changing for women at all. Like, they feel like if I'm changing for you, if I'm doing too much, then that means that I'm compromising myself as a man. And then they feel like, oh, you want to be a man, you want to be aggressive, when it's like, nah, I want you to be a man. I want you to be mature. I want you to get to the level that I'm at. But it's like, you're not getting it, sir. You're not getting it. Steven, I want you to start calling these men Steven, okay? We're just going to start calling these men Steven, and we're going to know what we talking about. They Stevens. All these niggas are Stevens. But I'm just going to go on and put on my highlighter, which is the Danessa Myricks in halo powder, in light halo powder in the color Heat. And once I put on my highlighter, I am going to hop off, finish my lip, do my hair, and then I'm gonna come on here to, you know, finish up the video. That is the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too lengthy. I hope I wasn't all over the place, because I know how I can be. I can be like, I be feeling like I be making sense when I be speaking, and then when I get to actually talking, I don't make no sense. Like, it be making sense in my head, but it don't make sense when I say it out loud. So I hope that you guys actually got the message of this video. And the whole purpose of this video is just to bring awareness to the fact that everybody has something about them that can be toxic or can be seen as toxic. And we as adults have to be able to take accountability for our own actions and the parts that we play in certain situations, whether it's allowing somebody in your life who has toxic traits and then expecting them to change and be different for you because you are that gem, that diamond in the rough that'll make him change, or you being the toxic one, you bringing the toxicity into the relationship because of the fact that you've never had a healthy relationship and you're not used to what a healthy relationship is, and just being open to receiving good into your life even though you have been used to just getting bad. And toxicity is also subjective. Like, I may allow something in my life that somebody else may see as toxic, and somebody else may allow something in their life that I may see as toxic. Is also subjective. And I also want to make a point to not judge anybody's situation. Don't be insensitive to other people's feelings and how other people feel about things. Granted, we are not all Ari or Therealkylesister and have a big, like 4.5 million followers or whatever, and have a platform like that to say something to that degree. But even if it's your own personal life, in your own personal space, if you have friends, just be aware of certain things that you say. Like, even if it comes down to a meme, if you think a meme is funny, but if you can think of somebody in your personal life that can fit that meme, don't post it, because it's just insensitive to them and their current situation, and it may make you look shady even if you're not trying to be shady. You get what I'm saying? So just be aware of the things that we're doing and try to change them and fix them as quickly as possible, and not for anybody else but for you. If you do it for somebody else, as soon as that person leaves out of your life, you're literally going to revert back to your old ways. But if you do it for you, it's going to stick with you throughout anything, and it'll help you for your future and the next generations to come after you. So yes, I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys like these more personal chit chat videos, let me know down below in the comments, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. That shit that drives me crazy. And like guns with the aching, getting under my skin.